We will present you the melting pot. First, the American melting pot is an expression born in the 19th century.
The USA were a melting pot of many different nationalities that became one common nationality, Indian American.
Immigrants ran to the USA, especially in 19th and early 20th centuries. They came from Europe. They were German, Dutch, French, English, Italian, etc.
They had an American dream. They wanted a better life, equality and liberty, for example.
In the past, people who lived in Europe thought that life in the USA was perfect. It was the American dream. For them, it represented liberty, equality, social order, a better life, more money and happiness. For example, in Ireland in 1840s, the reasons of immigration were the potato famine, a big starvation, the diseases and religious problems. In the middle of the 18th century in Germany, the inhabitants were suffering from famine, rebellion and poverty because of political unrest and economic depression.
From 1880 to 1920, the Jews left Europe and Russia because they were persecuted after the assassination of the Tsar. In the early 19th century, in Italy, everything was destroyed by natural disasters, so there was no work or no food. In conclusion, many people imagine the USA like a perfect place with good jobs and food, a perfect life, but the trip and the arrival at Ellis Island brought them back to reality.
What's your name?
My name is Nina Milovka.
How old are you?
I'm 24 years old.
Are you male or female?
I'm female.
Are you married or single?
Married.
What's your occupation?
I'm a seamstress.
Are you able to read and write?
Yes.
What country are you from?
Russia.
What's your race?
White.
Have you been to America before?
No.
Are you meeting a relative here in America?
Yes.
Who?
My aunt.
Have you been in a prison, almshouse or institution for care of the insane?
No.
Are you polygamist?
No.
Are you anarchist?
No.
Are you deformed or crippled?
No.
How tall are you?
I'm 1 meter 60.
What color are your eyes?
Green.
And your hair?
Blonde.
Do you have any identifying marks?
No.
Who was the first president of America?
Washington.
Which president freed the slaves?
Abraham Lincoln.
His name is John Doyle. He lives in Ireland with his wife Fanny and his son Ned, one he loves, but one day he goes to the USA because of economic reasons and to find more work and money. He goes to the USA without his family because he hasn't got the money to go with them. He arrives on the 7th of October in 1819 in Philadelphia by boat, but it is very difficult because he didn't have money to pay for the trip and nobody could help him. He writes this letter 6 months after he left Ireland. This letter is for his wife Fanny. He is happy because he finds his father after 17 years where he did not see him. He is very well received. However, John realized that they are ignorant of the real situation all over Europe. After that, he looks for a job and finds out that there are a lot of printing houses. He finds a job and receives a good wage. He works in Philadelphia for 5.5 weeks. An acquaintance then invites him to come to New York, but his father does not agree. In New York, he has trouble finding a new job, but he ends up being hired by a bookseller. He is very poorly paid and his savings are running out quickly. However, he is able to put a little money aside. He spends it in the pockets of images of New Year's Day that he resells thereafter. He arrives at the end of the 16th month to make a deposit of $100 at the Bank of the United States. He achieved his American dream, but at the beginning it was very difficult and he missed his family a lot. If the immigrants knew what happened in the first 6 months, they would not leave their home.
In the 19th century, we could compare the USA to a melting pot. It was a mix of many countries united into one, with one culture and one language.
Nowadays, the immigrants in the USA are not being blended together in one pot, but they are rather transforming the American society into a truly multicultural mosaic. It's a solid goal.
Today, immigrants aren't compelled to speak English. In the USA, indeed, Spanglish appeared in the 19th century. It's a new language created by the Spanish speakers when they arrived in the USA.
Immigrants from Central America didn't speak English and English speakers didn't speak Spanish. So to communicate, they created Spanglish, which is a mix of English and Spanish.
Hola, voy a presentaros el idioma que apareció en el siglo XIX, el Spanglish. Es una mezcla entre el español y el inglés. Está muy presente en el sur de los Estados Unidos. Los inmigrantes llegaron al sur de los Estados Unidos, pero no hablaban inglés. Pero tuvieron que aprender el inglés, pero conservaron también el español y su cultura. Siguen hablando el español y el inglés, creando el Spanglish. La lengua se forma de una mezcla. Por ejemplo, para decir enfermería en español y nurse en inglés, dicen nursa. O para decir el mercado en español y market en inglés, dicen marqueta. El Spanglish es muy importante porque hay en la ciudad publicidades o periódicos en Spanglish. Las personas lo utilizan para no ser entendidas por los otros o a veces es natural. Además, es más fácil para los inmigrantes que llegan en español, pueden encontrar más fácilmente un trabajo.
Me llamo Andrea. I live in Francia in Genas. Tengo 15 años. Vivo with mi sister y mis padres. Practico el violín por 3 años.
Me llamo Anaïs y vivo next to Lyon. I'm 14 years old and I live con mis hermanas and my parents. My hobbies son el baile y boxing. Hola, good morning, ¿cómo estás?
Well, ¿y tú?
Bueno, in fact, no me va muy bien. Tuve problemas parqueando mi carro this morning. Y además, I have a big mancha en mi new camiseta.
Oh, really? I know it. Siempre hay problemas parqueando los carros at this time. Y no te preocupes with la mancha. You look perfect.
Thank you. Do you want to tomar un lunch with me?
Of course, but primero tengo que ir a la marqueta a chupar groserías y then voy a la guachatería a lavar la ropa.
Vale, so call me después. Bye. It's okay, lavé mi camiseta y tengo very hambre.
Conozco a restaurant en this barrio.
Vale, so let's go.
America has always been considered as a land of immigrants.
In the history, people left their country to live their American dream in the USA. But what about today's American dream? In this cartoon, we can see a broken bridge.
It's more difficult to achieve the American dream because the bridge is broken, so it's difficult and dangerous. Nowadays, a lot of people live in ghettos, they have a bad education, and there is a lot of poverty. There are epidemics of obesity, child abuse, and drug addiction.
In the world, we see that a lot of migrants who try to go to the USA die every day. In 2008, there was an economic crisis that caused huge debt. Now, even if the economic situation is improving, the population is still poor.
As a consequence, a big part of the immigrants who arrive in the USA don't achieve their American dream. They live in the street, they don't eat, and they can't find a job.
So they represent the 50% of the population who think the American dream is dead. The other 50% say it's alive, like Whoopi Goldberg, who managed to become rich and famous.
Even if the American dream is still alive, it's more difficult to achieve it, especially because today Trump refuses immigrants to come to the USA.
Hola, ¿puedes indicarme dónde es mi carta del mundo, por favor? ¿Por qué? Para salir de México y explorar el mundo.
No es posible, vivimos en la miseria.
Sí, pero la Mara me da miedo. Quiere huir del país.
Pienso que es importante de soñar, pero la Mara puede perseguirnos en todo el mundo.
Te entiendo y sabo que Donald Trump no quiere los mexicanos.
Mais Nevado, à toi, terre rouge, terre de mon pays, qui jusque-là m'a nourri. Tu as sali mes pieds enfantins, mais ne saliras pas ceux de mes prochains. À vous, les innombrables oliviers, dont les feuilles dansaient avec la brise d'été, qui s'infiltrant à travers nos volets, apportaient fraîcheur, la nuit, sur nos peaux brûlées.
À toi, langue d'Italie, dansante mélodie, tu fus la musique qui me berça, et qui, encore et toujours, résonnera. À toi, soleil frappant, laissant émaner ta chaleur oppressante, tu m'as vu grandir, mais ne me verras pas vieillir.
À toi, douce mer salée, je t'ai aimé, rêvé, mais tu m'as tant hanté, quand le bateau m'arrachant à mes aînés, fendit tes flots vers une nouvelle destinée. Adieu, adieu, car je m'en vais voir cet Eldorado regorgeant d'espoir, où loin de nos racines, tous les rêves sont permis.
Adieu, car toi, mon pays, faute de ne pas salir les pieds de mes petits, tu seras l'histoire que je leur conterai et qui alimentera leurs rêves. Alors je clame, haut et fort, cette phrase remplie de chagrin, d'espoir, et en souvenir de notre histoire, Me Nevado.
Espoir brisé d'une nouvelle vie. Dès l'aube sonnera l'heure du départ, dès l'aube je serai contraint d'abandonner ma tendre sœur. Dès l'aube je partirai pour une vie meilleure, dès l'aube je quitterai l'Italie plein d'espoir. Je prie, oui je prie, pour que ce nouveau pays soit celui qui apportera bonheur et réconfort à ma pauvre famille. Sur ce convoi de l'espérance, j'entends encore rire mes amis, qui m'envient d'être là où je suis, recroquevillé près de l'écoutille.
Brusquement, une tempête d'une violence inouïe vint s'abattre sur notre triste embarcation, emportant certains de mes compagnons dans les flots qui s'étaient assombris. Aussitôt venus, aussi vite partis, volatile malédiction.
Alors que les autres s'émerveillaient sur le ponton ensoleillé, je restais pris dans une tornade de sentiments qui me devenait insupportable. Où étaient emportés toute mon enfance, mes souvenirs, ma vie et ma liberté? J'ouvris les yeux, étoile noire d'un destin pitoyable.
Soudain, je la vis, la terre de la délivrance, celle qui me donna la force de continuer. Elle était là, près de mon corps, faible et sans défense, tandis que notre piètre épave s'approchait du quai.
À l'instant où je foulais le sol américain, je ressentis une euphorie incroyable s'emparer de moi. Je me sentis libre et heureux d'être là. Peut-être allais-je avoir une vie meilleure, enfin.
Au bord de la plage, j'observais des enfants simulant une noyade. Je pris conscience alors que ce pays n'était pas celui que j'avais imaginé. Allongé sur un banc, affamé, assoiffé et malade, où les passants me regardaient comme une pauvre bête, sans jamais m'aider, noyé d'être à terre, sans prendre racine. Mesdames, messieurs, merci de votre attention.